How's it going, my dreamers? This is Born to Dream, here with another Raid Boss Guide for you guys. This is Raid Boss Guide number 2 for you guys. This is kind of the surprise thing I'm doing today. You guys got 2 Raid Boss Guides because I know you guys love these, and I want to keep bringing these Raid Boss Guides back to you guys. So if you guys didn't see it, I already did a Azumarill, and I've already done Jinx and Machamp as well. So if you guys missed out on any of those, go ahead and check that out. And yeah, we'll jump right into Piloswine here. So I mentioned that Azumarill is probably the second easiest raid boss. I think Piloswine is not too far behind Azumarill in terms of ease. And there's numerous reasons for that. You guys could see its stats. Its stats are very good. 181 in attack, 147 in defense, 200 in stamina. It's very good, and it will get an evolution next gen. So that's something else to keep in mind. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this video, is for you guys that want to pile up on these Piloswine candies so you can get that lovely Mamoswine. But its stats are very good. The only problem with Piloswine is it's got a lot of weaknesses. If we go down here, you guys will see all the weaknesses. So see all these times 4s. It's got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weaknesses. The problem with all of these weaknesses here is, other than Steel, these 4 right here are very popular. You have like stuff like Moltres and Entei here. You have Exeggutor and Venusaur's Sceptile here. You have, for fighting, you have, obviously, Machamp, and then you have Hariyama, Blaziken, I don't know about Breloom, but you have those 3 there. And then for water, I mean, there's so many water types. There are so many water types. You won't find, you'll have a very difficult time finding a water type that won't be good for Piloswine. And then for Steel, I mean, Steel is not very popular, but, I mean, we did just get Metagross, and we also have Scizor, although people like to run bug moves on Scizor instead of Bullet Punch Iron Head. But, I mean, even with Steel typing, you have Pokemon for that as well. And the only thing it resists is Poison. So you can go in, or, well, no, it resists Electric too. But, I mean, as long as you have one of these typings here, you're fine. That's basically all you need to know about Piloswine right there. It just has too many weaknesses. And, I mean, again, it suffers the same thing as Azumarill. It just has too high of an HP stat. It just makes it too easy. So that's the whole problem with Piloswine right there. Now, its perfect IVs, I didn't really check. I should have checked before this, but I'm checking it now. So if you want a perfect non-boosted Piloswine, you are looking for 1305. 1305 is perfect IVs for a Piloswine. So keep that in mind when you're trying to solo it in non-boosted. In boosted, you want 1631. That's actually pretty high. 1631 for a weather boosted Piloswine. And me living in California, I got plenty of clear weather Piloswines for you guys. So, yeah, but let's jump into the moveset. So, the thing about its moveset is, like Azumarill, Piloswine does a pretty good job, if not a better job, of covering its weaknesses. Piloswine has a lot of weaknesses, but as you can see, it has a pretty semi-diverse moveset here. So, we're talking about Ice Shard Avalanche here. Powder Snow Avalanche, Ice Shard Bulldoze, Powder Snow Bulldoze, Ice Shard Stone Edge, and then Powder Snow Stone Edge. I would say the hardest here is probably Ice Shard Avalanche, as they show here. That is probably the hardest moveset. Avalanche is just a very difficult moveset to deal with in general. That's why Cloyster is so good, is because of Avalanche. So, but, I mean, Avalanche covers grass. Bulldoze covers fire types that aren't Moltres or Ho-Oh or Charizard. And it also covers steel types and nothing it doesn't cover anything else, right? No, not really. And then Stone Edge covers fire types, including Charizard, Ho-Oh, and Moltres, and that's basically all Stone Edge covers. But I mean, that's still a pretty big deal for Piloswine. Basically, the safest Pokemon to go into are water and fighting types. If you're going in with fire or grass types, you're playing it a little risky. So, yeah. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and, again, I talked about all this stuff. So, we'll go ahead and jump into the counters for Piloswine. And it has Piloswine has a laundry list of counters, but here are the best ones right here. So, the absolute best counter for Piloswine, by far, and this is a Pokemon you guys won't see me use, is Kyogre. Kyogre resists its ice moves, and it's the best water type attacker in the game. Kyogre by far is the best counter for Piloswine. You guys might have missed Kyogre. Kyogre was last month, but maybe you guys just missed it, and it sucks. I know, but you know, you guys missed it for whatever reason. So if you guys missed it, well, here you go. So the good counters for Piloswine would be Moltres, Entei, Machamp, and Hariyama. These guys, I think, are better than these two because of Stone Edge. And Stone Edge, I mean, is eaten up by these two very easily, and they're not weak to any other of Piloswine's moves. So I would recommend these two over Moltres and Entei. And then for your tank counters, you have Vaporeon there if you don't have Kyogre. Gyarados is another good one that I use. Not so much for Stone Edge, but I mean, for Bulldoze, Gyarados is very, very good. It just swallows up Bulldozes, so it's good in that sense. And then you guys can see the little graph here. Kyogre by far is the best, as you guys can see over here. And then you got Moltres, Machamp, Hariyama, Entei. Mewtwo, if you have it, and it has Focus Blast. Gyarados, Metagross. Metagross is bad for Bulldoze. Aggron's here as a tank too. And Heracross if you live in that part of the world. But yeah, so those are your best counters for Piloswine. So we'll go ahead and now talk about what weather you should fight Piloswine in. Now, to be 100% honest, looking at this, I'm just checking real quick before I say this. Well, at least in these these 4 weathers, Piloswine is weak. You have fire here, you have water here, you have fighting here, you have steel here, nothing here, nothing here, right? So basically, fire, water, fighting, and steel types are all strong to Piloswine. I have to keep double checking Piloswine because, again, it has so many weaknesses that I have to make sure I'm not missing anything with Piloswine, just to give you guys a good, come on computer, let's go, a good guide. Let me double check this. So this is clear. Oh, that's what I was missing. Okay, yeah, so clear weather is by far the best to solo Piloswine, actually, because you get the fire and grass type weaknesses. But again, Piloswine is boosted, so that's actually very good. It's just Bulldoze will do a lot more damage. So rain and then cloudy weather, Piloswine doesn't get a boost, but you'll get a boost. Snowy weather is probably the worst unless you're going in with all steel types, because its ice moves will be boosted. Partly cloudy is bad too because Stone Edge gets boosted. Windy and foggy weather aren't really, I mean, it's neutral for both of you, and you're not going in with a bunch of Dragonites anyways for windy. So I mean, you might go in with like Gengars for foggy, that's an option, but yeah, I think that about does it for Piloswine. So I will see you guys when we start talking about the battles. Also, wait, hold on, before I say that, I want to go back on Mamoswine real quick. I should have mentioned this earlier, but Mamoswine is probably going to be the best ice type attacker it probably will be the best ice type attacker for ice types in Gen 4. So I would highly recommend stocking up on Piloswine. Also, Piloswine is very strong to Rayquaza right now, so if you're trying to do a lot of Rayquaza raids, Piloswine isn't a bad Pokemon to solo for Rayquaza. And then we're going to get a bunch of other dragons along the way. So, yeah, Piloswine is definitely a good Pokemon to invest in right now if that is your thing. If you want to like invest into really good raid boss counters, Piloswine is one of those Pokemon that you should invest in. So now we'll go ahead and jump into the battles. Alright, so the first one we have here is Bulldoze. And reason why I picked Bulldoze over Stone Edge is Bulldoze is a way weaker move. It does laughable damage to your flying types, so it's not a hard moveset to solo at all. And your best bet here is, like I mentioned before, Gyarados. Gyarados is by far the best counter to Bulldoze because you have the flying resistance. You also have the water moveset. So this is basically this Gyarados you're seeing right here is probably the best possible Gyarados you can use against Piloswine. And you guys can see how much damage Gyarados is already doing to Piloswine. Now, I looked through all these videos and I made sure I didn't use any Kyogres in this fight because, I mean, if you have a Kyogre, you're going to have no problem taking down Piloswines. But I didn't use any Kyogres. You guys will see Kyogres on the team screen, but I didn't use any of them. But I think the next best water type to use if you do not have a Kyogre is Gyarados. Just keep in mind that you cannot really use Gyarados against the Stone Edge variant. But you guys can already see just how much damage we're doing to the Piloswine. And the great thing about Bulldoze is it's just adding more charge to my charge meter. So I'm able to fire off these Hydro Pumps a lot faster. I don't have to dodge. I don't do anything like that. And this is in clear weather too. So if you're doing this in non-clear weather, it's going to be even easier. So like we got it to red at about 84 seconds. That's very, very good. That's excellent, actually. Moltres is another Pokemon that you can use. Moltres, Pokemon Go still factors the fire typing to Pokemon to Moltres, even though it's a flying type. In the main series games, flying completely resists ground, but fire is weak to ground. You still get the resistance from flying, but you don't it still takes the fire weakness as well. It's not like the main series games at all. So, but we managed to beat it. I didn't catch the time, but it was a very, very good time. Bulldoze is not a problem at all. If you go in with all pretty much Gyaradoses, it's not a problem. Basically, any flying types that can do super effective damage. So you're looking at Moltres, you're looking at Charizard, you're looking at Ho-Oh. Those are all possible options. You can use grass types as well. So, you know, your Executors, not so much Venusaur because of the poison typing, but you can use like Sceptile as well. There's plenty of options, and you guys will see me using Sceptile a fair. I don't know. Well, no, I don't think I used Sceptile. I'm thinking of Azumarill. Yeah, you can use grass typings against Piloswine. Just keep in mind that it will still have an ice fast move. So yeah. Alright, next up we have Stone Edge. Now, what you need to do differently here is you need to go into your fighting types because Stone Edge is a rock type move. Fighting resists Stone Edge, so yeah, you need to go with your best fighting types. That would probably be Machamp or Hariyama. I wouldn't go into Blaziken because Blaziken's still fire type, and Breloom's just a poor choice because it gets Piloswine gets ice quick moves, and Breloom is just a glass cannon anyways. But mostly go in with your fighting types. As you can see, Stone Edge does so little to a maxed out Machamp. If you don't have a maxed out Machamp, that's fine. you should still easily be able to solo the Piloswine. Stone Edge is also a 1-bar move, so you won't see Piloswine firing this off as much as you would see Piloswine firing off Bulldoze or Avalanche. And it took a lot of Stone Edges to take that Machamp out without dodging. So I mean, if I could do this with a maxed out Machamp, you should be able to do it with at least a few Hariyamas or whatever fighting type you may prefer. Steel is also another type that you might want to use here. So if you're lucky enough to already have a Metagross, this is when you can use the Metagross, is against you know, Ice Quick Move, Stone Edge, Piloswine. Scizor you don't really want to use because Scizor is still a bug type. So basically those are really your only 2 options right now for steel types, unless you want to go in with Steelix, which would be kind of weird. Steelix doesn't do a whole lot of damage anyways, so there'd just be no point. I guess you could use it as like a tank, but you can use, I guess you can use Aggron as well, but it's kind of the same thing that's going on for Steelix is the same for Aggron as well. So, but yeah, basically use your fighting types, and you should be able to easily solo this variant of Piloswine. The first 2 movesets are really easy. It's Avalanche that's a little more difficult, but just take advantage of those weaknesses, and also be sure to pin out these Piloswines as well, because again, next generation we will be getting Mamoswine. So yeah, that's basically you want to pin out these and catch these. Alright, so next up, well, last but not least, we have Avalanche. And Avalanche is a very difficult move because it is the 2-bar move and it is stab. So Piloswine will get stab off of Avalanche, and Ice Shard Avalanche is probably the hardest move to solo in the game. But I mean, it's still not that bad of a moveset to solo if you take advantage of Piloswine's weaknesses. Piloswine has so many weaknesses that you just need to take advantage. That's how you solo this thing. That's basically how you solo anything, but especially from Piloswine, because it just has so many weaknesses. So you guys see me leading off with Moltres here, and this is clear weather. So if you are fighting Piloswine in clear weather, make sure you're going in with those fire types. You don't want to go in with grass types against this variant of Piloswine, because they will get absolutely slaughtered against those ice moves. So yeah, you guys saw how much damage Moltres did there. Did quite a bit of damage. Going in with Gyarados. Gyarados is still neutral to ice moves, but it's still a very good mon to use against Piloswine if you do not have that Kyogre. Vaporeon's still another good water type. I mean, there's a huge list. I mean, I could say like Feraligatr, for example, is a good water type. I mean, there's a lot of water types in Pokemon Go. You'll find something to use that's a water type against Piloswine. So going on with the second Gyarados, we'll probably get this at red. I don't know if we'll get it at red. It's about the same time as the Bulldoze one, but I mean, we're already at 90 seconds and we're way into the red there, so it's gonna take me out with Avalanche. That's fine. We're going in with Flareon. Again, Flareon's a fire type that you can use against Piloswine if you do not have Moltres or Entei. I would show you guys Entei as well, but I don't really have a powered up Entei. I'm not too interested in powering it up in the first place, so using these Flareons as substitute isn't the worst idea either. So see me dodging a little bit there, that's really unnecessary. I'm just trying to get that last overheat off, and yeah, took down the Piloswine. So well, we haven't taken it out yet. There we go. Okay, so yeah, Piloswine is not that difficult to solo. Just take advantage of its weaknesses and be sure you know its moveset too, because if you go into a Piloswine raid and you go in with a bunch of fire types, you could get screwed over by Stone Edge. But catch as many of these Piloswines as you can. Mamoswine is coming next generation, and we have plenty of dragons coming. We have Rayquaza right now. We got the Lotties. Next generation, you got Palkia and Dialga, although Piloswine doesn't really help with either, but you got Giratina, and then you have like Zekrom, Reshiram, Kyurem. The list goes on and on and on. There's going to be plenty of dragon types to come, so make sure you stock up on those ice types. So I will see you guys later. Keep living the dream. Goodbye.